Now, earlier I mentioned that I've got two different types of shock mounts. I'm going to go ahead and use the ones that came in the bag that came with the newer shocks. Just assuming here that those are going to fit the newer shocks better. Just an assumption, but hopefully it'll work out. This is one of the parts bags used in this next step. New parts, nice, beautiful, hard anodized hub carriers for the rear. Looks like I do have just enough room to put a spacer under there. I'm going to put one of these, apparently 1mm spacers under here, and use a little, or quite a bit of thread lock compound, as much as I can in that small space, and attach this to the outermost hole for now. It's going to be closest to what's shown in the manual. The manual actually shows instructions for the original ones, which did not have the vertical studs. They had horizontal ones, and they were plastic. So I'm just going to go with something that's relatively close to stock, just as a baseline. CVAs included here. These have, feels like spring metal clips to hold the pins in. Usually that's plastic. Cool. No lube in there though. These were built without lube. If I was being thorough, I would actually take these apart and rebuild them with grease. However, I've built these things with grease and they just don't hold on to grease for very long. And that goes well with what I want to do right now, which is be lazy and not take them apart. So I'm just going to use some thicker oil for now. This is just some petroleum-based oil. Like I said, ideally I would use grease in there, probably use the molybdenum stuff, but they always end up drying out, and it's a lot easier to just refill the lube using a little tube thing like this when it's on the truck already. So just starting off with the same compound means you're not going to create any emulsion of different types of lubes together. It's not going to last as long. It's not going to have as much resistance against wear, but I'll just re-lube it on a regular basis, which is what I always end up doing anyway. Now, here again, they want you to put on the little pin, or put in the little pin, the little drive pin, and a hex over the end, which is just going to fall off. Even if I did put thread lock on the pin, which I don't like to do that, it would still, the hex would still just fall off. So I'm not going to do that at all right now. Again, going to just use the little body pin method for now to just hold it in place. But check it out. The new Pro Kit includes these clamping aluminum hexes. I could put those on right now, but I'm still going to wait towards the end. But clampers, hard anodized aluminum, very nice stuff. And they have some shims in here also, so you can take some play out of the axles if there is any. So that's taken care of for now. I need to build up some more outer pins. We're going to use E-clips, my favorites. Yes, got to build some turnbuckles. All right, installation. A couple of foam things around these inner mounts, these inner camber link mounts. I am going to put a little bit of, they call it anti-wear grease from Tamiya on the bone ends of the CVAs. It just helps to reduce lash. I always like to use this stuff in there. Get back on there. There we go. Comes through the other side, gets secured with another devil clip. Here comes another foam thing. Make sure that my turnbuckles are oriented in the same way that I did them up front, so they can all be turned the same, and this actually needs to be adjusted just a little bit because I did use the vertical ball studs. There we go. Yeah, okay, that was easier. Oh, bastards. Bastards. They shorted me one E-clip, once again, to my private stash for something that should have been included in the kit in the first place. Looks like if you don't have your own hardware, you shouldn't get one of these kits. Better be worth it in the end. Okay, inner camber link on the right hand side. It's kind of buried under there a little bit. Very difficult to put that on. I was not able to get it on without a pair of pliers, thin-nosed, flat end pliers that would just barely fit in there. But they're on now, so I can now move on to the next step, which will be finally installing, or rather putting together the shocks. And for this, they do include a separate little insert, little addendum sheet that talks about just the larger shocks themselves, the now included big bore shocks. So I'm going to move the chassis out of the way, and in the next video, go into the shocks.